What's up, everybody? It's me, Melanie Mac, here on my new YouTube channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom. Back for another day of goodness with my daily uploads. So today, I wanted to talk about my issue with the whole misinformation stuff going on constantly and the censorship that we have been seeing on on social media as a result, on video platforms, the whole like trying to cancel Joe Rogan and all this kind of stuff in the name of misinformation. Now, there's multiple reasons why I have problems with this, but I'm just going to share kind of an anecdotal personal experience. Now, I'm of the impression that people don't actually care about misinformation because misinformation has always existed on the internet. Always, when it comes to diet, when it comes to anything, okay? But nobody really cared about it that much. Not until the Joe Rogan stuff all of a sudden, or until the Koof stuff. Then, okay. And what I notice is that there's a certain group of people, especially in the wokey crowd, that cannot handle. They just cannot tolerate people disagreeing with them on anything, whether it be medical stuff, Koof stuff, personal decisions that you do with your own health, or even things as like video games. What video games you like, what criticisms you have about video games, what criticisms you have about certain characters in movies or TV shows or games. They hate so much to see people think for themselves and have their own opinions that are so different, and for some reason they are so threatened by seeing different opinions than their own that they want to completely shut you down. They want to silence you. They want to call you some sort of ist or phobe or whatever else, okay? And here's the thing, or anti, whatever it may be. They want to call you something to try to dehumanize you and to try to intimidate you from speaking out. Now, on my video, a couple videos or so ago, I made a video about a Lara Croft statue. And I knew when I made it, the backlash was going to be real. Don't even get me started on everything, the backlash I've got on that. I knew it was going to happen, and it did. Okay? Not only from the community, but even from developers. And I knew it was going to happen. Anytime I've ever had criticisms about things, like, people get upset about it. I'm not allowed to criticize my favorite franchise that I've been a fan of for over 20 years when they completely make it beyond recognition, when they completely change it and turn it into something else. If I criticize it, then I'm the bad guy, and I have people telling me that I hurt their feelings because I had criticisms. And I have actual developers complaining to me or are talking bad about me behind my back because I have problems with the finished result. I don't have any issues with the actual developers, maybe some of the higher ups that make these kind of decisions and that are forcing certain narratives onto things where they previously didn't belong. But do I have an issue with the actual developers just doing their job? No. But this is where we're at. And the backlash is real. But I'm not going to sit and talk about that all day. I can make a whole video about that, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to call people out, and that's just not my style. It's definitely cry bullying, and that's what, people are. I made some mention about cry bullying a couple times on Twitter, and some people haven't heard of the term, but basically it's bullying people, but in a position to where you get to claim to be a victim. Okay, where you claiming to be a victim and using that as an excuse and as a shield to bully people into silence. And this is a problem. The internet was not created, and the internet does not exist to silence anybody who disagrees with you. And here's the thing, people disagree with me every single day. I stay friends with them. I don't come after them. I'm not replying to every single thing that they write just to hate on them. I move on with my life, and I say, oh, okay, well, they're a unique individual with their own opinion. That's different than mine. But this is where we're at, and this is where society is at, and this is one reason why I feel the need to be so outspoken on my platform. Some people don't like it. Some people are like, why are you complaining all the time and all this stuff? Well, look where society's at. And for me to use my platform to speak out and actually say, hey, I'm allowed to have opinions on things, whether it be serious matters or video game matters. It doesn't matter. I'm allowed to have an opinion, and I will speak out on that. And if that helps encourage other people to be able to speak out as well, great. Because right now, this little mob of crybullies are taking over. They're taking over our hobbies. They're taking over information now. They're trying to take over bodily autonomy. So yes, I will use my platform to speak out, and if I get some sort of negative repercussion from that, if I lose friends, if I lose sponsors, so be it. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of staying quiet because I'm so scared of offending people because I have opinions. So this is where I'm at. I do not come for anybody. I do not wish harm on anybody. I don't even call people out by name unless it's someone I don't even know, and I'm just like a game journalist or something who already put their opinion out there, and I'm criticizing their opinion and not them as a person. Okay? So, that being said, I can't even tell you how many people email me or DM me. Some people are my friends, some people are game developers, some people just in this space in general, content creator space, who say, wow, I'm so glad you're speaking out. I wish I could too. But I don't want the mob to come after me, and I don't want the bullies to come after me, so I just stay quiet. I can't even tell you. It's almost every single day. So, that said, we can't overcome this. Our voice is at risk when we stay quiet. If we stay quiet, we bend the knee to the mob, then our voice is at risk, and we're at risk of further censorship that we already have. So, I'm going to get off my soapbox here because I've got a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm trying not to make this video over an hour long. So, let's hop in. Now, when it comes to misinformation, I want to share some of my anecdotal experience of how I've completely transformed my health due to misinformation, and some of that which I found on Joe Rogan's podcast. Okay? So, let's look at this. I shared this on social media. Let me move my camera for a second so you can just get a better idea. So this is part of my journey. All right. So let me kind of give a quick little walkthrough. All right. This is my health journey. Just for reference, for the most part, I've been mostly in good health. Now, my biggest issue that I've had almost all my life was that I could not build muscle to save my life. I just couldn't. I have tried for years to start a fitness journey, to lift weights, to exercise, all that kind of stuff. And it all felt so futile. Every effort I made just did not work. So at best, I was, very skinny, like here. Probably weighed about 100 pounds. I'm about 5'6". So I could get skinny like this. Now, mind you, I was mostly vegetarian at this time. Not completely. There were times where I would have chicken or fish. Very rarely red meat, however. And it was for multiple reasons. One, because I love animals, and two, because I thought that was what was healthy. And three, I just liked plants. I like broccoli. I like cheese. That's not vegan, but it's vegetarian still. And just the type of foods that I liked the taste of were more along the lines of vegetarian variety. So that's what I did. Now, also, something else that I have to add is I've had endometriosis ever since puberty, and it's debilitating. Anybody who knows what endometriosis is like, it is debilitating. It's not just, during your period you get bad cramps. No, this is something that you suffer with almost each and every single day. And to have your hormones so out of whack and have all kinds of issues based on wherever you're at with your cycle, like it was awful. And it was something I've dealt with, and I've tried every kind of herb I could find that's supposed to help. Supposedly, I was told being a vegetarian would help. I've tried everything. And doctors trying to put me on hormonal birth control to balance my hormones and fix things, which every single time it just made it worse. And so I stopped that crap. Because that's a whole other discussion. Hormonal birth control, which they are pushing on women, especially in the US, the majority of women, they push that on us and tell us it's for our own good ever since puberty onward. Oh, this will help your skin. Oh, this will help your hormones. Synthetic hormones. Adding some sort of synthetic fake hormones into your body is supposed to make you healthier instead of letting our bodies function as they were intended naturally. Okay. So yeah, I had a lot of issues with fatigue. Obviously, I had almost no muscle. I was weak. I was tired all the time. A lot of issues from endometriosis. Okay. So, skinny, weak, all that kind of stuff. Still cute. So, that's people want to talk about looks and they want to make this all about looks, but it ain't about that. Okay. So, yeah, still cute. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong physically with how I looked in any of these, but just saying. So, that was that. Now, let's look in the middle here. I gained like 20 pounds, like 120 pounds here. This is when I started upping my calories, all that kind of stuff, because, I was constantly being told, hey, you're too skinny, blah, blah, blah. And I was fatigued and had issues. So I was like, well, let me up my calories, right? Now, at this point, I was still mostly vegetarian, but I was just simply eating more. And a lot of people who are vegetarian like to say, oh, you just didn't do it right. You just didn't do it right. There were times in my vegetarian journey, and then the times I went full vegan were very short because I felt like I was dying. It was like 3 months I was able to do it. And then there were times where I could do a month straight and then have to stop because I could barely get myself out of bed. I had the worst mental health of my life and all kinds of issues. So I gained 20 pounds over, I don't know, these are years apart, but over some time, I gained 20 pounds. Also, when it comes to just getting older in general, we naturally lose muscle mass as we get older. And if your diet does not accommodate, your diet and your lifestyle in general does not accommodate building muscle, then it's inevitable that you will get skinny fat with age. Now, I'm 35 years old. At this time, I was like 32, 33. So naturally, aging happens, you lose some muscle. I already had almost none to begin with. So as you can imagine, skinny fat happened. Okay? Now, people see me with clothes on and stuff, and I still looked very skinny. I don't know, wearing a size 2 to 4. So people don't know. People don't know that, hey, this still isn't healthy just because you can fit in small clothes does not mean you're healthy. My body fat percentage was too high compared to my lean muscle mass. All right. So right here was just the other day, a couple years later. I completely transformed my diet to a meat-based diet, a carnivore diet. Now, I'll say some days are keto, but for the most part, almost completely carnivore diet. All I eat is meat, eggs, and some dairy, okay? Like cheese or sour cream or something like that. Don't touch vegetables. And this goes against everything our guidelines currently tell us. Now, I don't have a picture of it, but the first year, so, okay, right? It was only, I want to say, a couple months after this that I started carnivore diet. I happened to stumble on it from a Facebook group, okay? And this Facebook group it was a keto group. I was like, oh, let me do keto. And because I'd done keto in the past, I was like, okay, my body fat percentage is higher than I want it to be, so let me do keto. And I've done keto in the past, but just for short-term bouts like people tell you to do, because they're like, oh, keto isn't healthy long-term. And so they tell you to do it short-term. And so I would do it short-term for like a month at a time. I'd cut fat really quick, and then I'd be like, all right, great. And then sure enough, a couple months later or so, then the skinny fat would come back once I got back to eating a lot of carbs again, and the cycle would continue. So at this point, I was in the keto group, and I saw a post that a woman made about healing her endometriosis and almost completely eradicating the symptoms of her endometriosis through the carnivore diet. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to try it. Because when you live like that and when you suffer through it, like, dude, you'll try anything. So I was like, let me give it a try and see what happens. And so I found that. I was Googling carnivore diet stuff. That made me stumble on like Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson on Joe Rogan's podcast. I saw them talk about how it transformed their health, their mental health. And I found that interesting as well, because I was previously diagnosed with PTSD from past events from a long time ago. And also just I struggled with anxiety. I struggled with depression. I was constantly in a people pleaser state. I just walked on eggshells every single day. It was just mentally, physically, everything was all out of whack. Okay. So once I discovered the carnivore diet and I was on it, I told my mom about it, texted her. She was terrified because she's like, oh my gosh, you need your vegetables. Okay. And I was like, Mom, I'm just going to try it. I need to try it. So I did. And I'm telling you, it took about 3 months for my hormones to balance. Now, it only took about 3 weeks to a month before I lost some fat, because it's just quick. But still, I wasn't, my endometriosis symptoms and all that kind of stuff. It took about 3 months for my hormones to balance properly. And suddenly I realized after that I had a cycle, and the pain was easily managed with just like Tylenol. And never in the history of my life has that ever happened. I was shocked. I noticed all kinds of benefits beyond that. My anxiety, depression, I'm at the point now where any of the PTSD symptoms that I had are almost completely non-existent. I don't even claim that anymore. I don't even claim that I have it anymore, because I haven't had any sort of trigger or reaction in so long. So, yeah, that happened. I wasn't really working out the first year I did carnivore diet, and I also wasn't 100% on it, all right? So I'd have cheat days sometimes, a couple times a month or something like that. And then when the coup first happened, I fell off for like a month straight. But for the most part, I was on point with it. And I noticed whenever I did fall off the wagon with it, I had issues. But yeah. So here I am, over 2 years carnivore diet, and 1 year lifting weights. Completely transformed my body. My health was better. My mental health's better. I'm not a pushover anymore. And people can say whatever they want. Your diet will affect your mental health. And that's one reason why the conspiracy theorist in me makes me think that the government wants us to be easily manipulated. They want us to be easily controlled. And that's why we constantly have our health administrations like against red meat, demonizing red meat. Okay? Red meat is what cured me. Red meat is what improved my health, and I've tried for so long I couldn't put on muscle to save my life before. Now here I am, and yeah, am I skinny, small still? Yes, I'm not trying to get yoked and huge, but I can't even begin to stress how much stronger I am, and how I don't feel fatigue anymore, how I wake up with energy. People are like, what the crap? How do you have this much energy? It's like I can run laps around my 16-year-old self, and I'm 35 years old. I've put on at minimum 10 pounds of muscle. I haven't had no DEXA scan or anything like that, but between these two pictures, I weigh about the same. Maybe 5 pounds less, maybe. But the difference is drastic. I'm like a whole clothes size down, if not 2 clothes sizes down. But I've got muscle now. So the weight is very similar to being the same. And I just think about it. What if misinformation was censored on the internet and I didn't find this? This is where I'd be again. Or this. Neither were good. And this is why I think it's so important that we can't be censoring this crap, because let's be real, our government and our current guidelines are not right. They are right sometimes, but they're wrong sometimes. We need access to other information that we can try and figure out for ourselves. Moreover, we have brains. Okay? We don't need daddy government or daddy council, whoever's appointed, to tell us how to use them. So if somebody happens on some sort of misinformation and it doesn't work out well for them, well, dude, that's part of freedom, man. You want to live in a cage all your life just to be safe, or you want to be free? Part of being free is the risk of making mistakes. And I'm just saying, for me, I'm very grateful for this. Now, look at this as well, because a lot of people want to knock this, and I can't even begin to tell you how many people give me crap for the way that I choose to eat, because I don't eat vegetables, because I don't have fiber in my diet, this, that, and the other. And they want to tell me how unhealthy it is, despite the fact that my health is completely transformed. They want to tell me so bad to eat carbs. And they're so mad that I don't eat carbs. I don't know why. I don't care if they eat carbs. Do it. But I don't. And my health has dramatically improved as a result. You think I'm trying to go back to those terrible, debilitating endometriosis symptoms and mental health problems again? No, thank you. You can't pay me to eat those. There's no amount of cake or pizza that's worth it. Now, once every like 3 months these days, I'll have cake or pizza. But every time I do, my wrist, my ankles swell. And even then, I have to be very particular about what I even allow myself to eat. Because one day, I had the bright idea of eating Taco Bell, which, okay, this is going to ruin any potential Taco Bell sponsorship, but I don't care. One day, I had the bright idea of eating Taco Bell for a cheat day. I felt my head throbbing. I felt sick. Felt like I had a fever, even though I don't think I did, but it felt like it. I took a nap. So I slept like 4 hours straight. Woke up, and I kid you not, I am not even exaggerating. My body looked like it was about 20 to 30 pounds heavier because I was retaining so much water. I got up, I could feel my skin jiggling. I had a double chin. I could feel all of that just jiggling. And it took like a week for that to go down. So no, I will not be consuming carbs except for the very rare occasion. And do I like cake? Do I like pizza? Yes. But instead, I make keto alternatives because I'm not trying to feel like crap again. Now, people again want to knock stuff. Let's look at this 2021 study by Harvard University. Okay? 90%, this is 6+ months on the carnivore diet. 90% saw full resolution or significant improvement in all diseases. 100% of diabetics came off of other injectable medications. CRP, inflammatory marker, decreased significantly. 92% of diabetics fully came off insulin. 84% of diabetics came off of all oral medications. 9 kgs average weight loss, which is 20 pounds. Okay? Yeah, people want to knock this. People want to tell you to eat your bread. People want to tell you this is unhealthy. Doesn't look like it to me. Now, obviously, before you make any drastic diet changes, look into it yourself. I ain't telling people to do this. I'm saying this worked for me. I'm saying it worked for my mom, who has rheumatoid arthritis. She still has her issues, and this is something that would take a lot longer to fix, but she's noticed drastic improvement and weight loss. She's at a much healthier weight now. Now, she still kind of yo-yos a little bit, but that's because she falls off the wagon sometimes. But ultimately, she is in a much better place. I've coached people, saw drastic improvements quickly. So, again, I ain't telling anybody you have to do this, but I'm just saying this is misinformation. Look at, if you go to Facebook, there's 2 different groups. There's Women's Carnivore Tribe, that's just for women, and there's World Carnivore Tribe, which is for everybody. And you'll find people who have been on the carnivore diet for decades, thriving, best health of their life, muscle, strong. When I think about these times, when I was mostly vegetarian, I felt like a rabbit. I was passive. I was timid. I was scared of what other people thought all the time. And then here I am, 2 years into eating meat, pretty much exclusively meat. And look at me, I got this channel. and I speak my mind, and I don't put up with bull crap anymore. I feel like a lion now. I feel like I went from being a rabbit to a lion. And by taking meat away from our diets, it's making us weaker. That's my opinion. Again, if you don't want to eat meat, don't eat it. But that's my opinion. So, again, I could go on and on about this, but I'll leave it at that for now. If you want more information about anything like this, or you're just curious about it, because now I'm extremely passionate about it, I get into how macros work because it's very scientific. Like, for example, I'll briefly touch on this just because it's extremely unhealthy to have calorie counting as being taught as this is what you should do. You should just calorie count. They don't tell you how macros work. And so if you just calorie count, what does that make you do? That makes you want to prioritize the yummy foods in your calories. Okay? So, well, I can have ice cream and I can have pizza as long as it fits within my calorie range. And what that happens with that is your body isn't getting sufficient protein, and it's also not getting sufficient nutrients. So it makes you hungry and hungry for more. So people who are constantly counting calories, 1,200 a day, they're starving all the time. And what happens is it sets them up for failure. Because, they lose some weight, but they're so hungry that they binge eat and they gain it back and more. So for how much of the population that's overweight, it isn't even really their fault. Because they're taught these things and they're not taught the truth. They're just taught these base things. It's all about calories. It's not. You can die of starvation with a belly full of protein. You do not store protein as fat. You don't need a calorie deficit to lose fat. You need an energy deficit. Protein is strength. Carbs and fats are energy. So the fastest way to obesity is eating pizza and cake and ice cream because these are fats and carbs in combination. It will ruin your health. It will make you insulin resistant and cause a number of issues. And this is why autoimmune diseases are rampant. So that being said, carbs are unessential, and for most people, except elite athletes, will cause more harm than good. And fats are essential. You need them. You need them not only to absorb nutrients, but they're just good for you. You need them. So, simple deduction says that, hey, carnivore diet is very optimal for this reason. Again, not telling you how to live your life, but I'm just sharing this information. And if you want more, I am always posting on my Instagram stories. I also have highlights where I share, from past stories, like highlight reels and stuff. And I really would love to dive deeper into this and make a very extensive, PDF for it. I have coached people and helped them free of charge just because I like to do that. But yeah, I've seen dramatic results in people. But yeah, this is the misinformation that changed my life. And this is why I'm against trying to censor misinformation. Now, people who watch my streams know I will talk about nutrition for hours. So I'm just going to continue with the video. We're going to read some comments. All right. So Mr. Mystery says, prefacing by saying, I'm sure I'm a surly gay dude, the type of guy you'd expect to lift half a pine forest and drink a keg of whiskey before shagging a harem of dudes level of burly. This description's great. I think you're hilarious, charming, and exactly what this space needs. That's so kind. Hard to offend, upbeat, positive, open-minded, and boasting a rapier wit. You're a daily watch for me. And I'm just glad I'm saying it now when you're at 18,000 subscribers before you hit 500,000 in a month? I wish. Thank you. Ha! Give them heck, Melanie. Go boom. Light up the night. This just made me smile. When I first read it, I was smiling from ear to ear the whole time. This is incredibly nice of you to leave me a comment like this. So thank you so much, Mr. Mystery. You're awesome. Next up, Ray Rhodes says, and of course there aren't any pistols. Now this is in regard to the Lara Croft statue video I made. And of course there aren't any pistols in her holsters or her hands. I'm done with things being pasteurized, homogenized, and rendered as inoffensive as possible. Complete neutering of femininity and masculinity across the board. It seems to be a triumph of insecurity and weakness. Thank you. Thank you. And that's one of the criticisms I got regarding my video. I've had people reach out to me from the community who said, well, you criticized that statue for how she looked and some real people look like that, so that's a problem. And it's like, okay, so we're supposed to accept any body type they give Lara Croft because real people look like that? Well, then by that standard, are we supposed to accept a 600-pound Lara Croft because some people look like that? No. And also, I'm not saying Lara Croft should even have my body type. I'm not as curvy as I want Lara Croft to be. I just want Lara Croft to be what she was originally created to be. That's that. I don't project my insecurities on fictional characters. And to use a partial quote from Frost, Lara Croft doesn't exist to make you feel better about your insecurities. Or me. Ray, you said this so freaking well, and I agree. Thank you. All right, now this is something else I wanted to address. I got this comment from Sola, and he said, I thought this chick was cool, genuinely, but she deleted comments of mine, so she can't be about free speech. The comments were nothing bad toward her. I just commented on how ridiculous the statue looked. Unsubscribed. Look, I understand why that would make you mad, but I did not delete your comments. YouTube has an auto filter program thing in it, algorithm, I don't know. And so I just discovered it too, like yesterday. I looked at the comments and saw the comments for review. There were like hundreds, at least 100. And I was like, what the crap? And I'm just like clicking all, approving all, except there were 2 of them that were a bunch of gibberish that were clearly spam. But other than that, I was just like, approve all, approve all, approve all. So, trust me, I am not trying to censor you or anybody else. That's not in my control that I know of. If there is a setting on YouTube that lets me disable this stupid thing that it does. And you know what's funny about it? Just for me to read the comments, it says, some of these comments may be hurtful. Are you sure you want to look? Like I'm that fragile? Dude, come on. All right, next up. OMG, women's skin, my pure eyes. This just makes me think the reason why people like, you know, some journos or whatever complain about the female form is it's just like, if that bothers you so much, are you hiding some sort of skeletons? Do you have just like the most traumatic spank bank that I don't even want to fathom? That this is triggering that for you? Because, bro, normal people are capable of glancing at an attractive person and having self-control. Okay? Now, some people don't. I don't want to shame people who don't. That's your weakness. We all have weaknesses. But just saying, you can't impose your weaknesses on everybody else. I have weaknesses too. But and yeah, that's that. All right. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, dude, I already replied to this comment on another video. So, anyway, there's that. Let me go ahead and go into the verse of the day. I picked 2 Thessalonians 3:3 for this. It says, but the Lord is faithful. He will establish you and guard you against the evil one. Yay. That's so sweet. Okay. So, all right, I kept this under an hour. That's good. We're a little over there at 30 minutes, but I knew this would be a long video because there was a lot to cover with my own journey. And then I went on that tangent at the beginning. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you come back for more because I upload every single day. So, until tomorrow, go boom.